Number now.
122.
Number, first number.
Welcome, everyone. We'd like to begin the webinar. For those of you who are able to speak into the microphones, please make sure that your phones are on mute. Good afternoon, everybody. The Crime and Justice Institute at Community Resources for Justice is pleased to present and welcome you to the Wednesday series, Using Science and Criminal Justice to Achieve Better Results. Today's webinar is titled Evidence-Based Practices to Reduce Recidivism, Implications for State Judiciaries. Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Florio, and I'm the Director of Business Development and Planning at the Crime and Justice Institute. CJI provides nonpartisan consulting, policy analysis, and research services to improve public safety in communities throughout the country. We work with a diverse group of practitioners and policymakers, including corrections officials, courts, law enforcement, political and community leaders in local and state jurisdictions across the country. Developed in follow-up to the release of the box set papers, the Wednesday series of webinars has been thoughtfully designed to reach diverse audiences and stakeholder groups by incorporating their various perspectives, all aligned by the principles of evidence-based practice. And the principles of evidence-based practice can in fact be applied at the county and state levels. Today's agenda will cover the following areas. First, there will be a brief featured presentation, followed by a panel discussion, and then an interactive question and answer session. To begin this webinar, we have a quick poll for you, our audience, to get a sense of whether you work primarily in a county, state, or federal jurisdiction. Please record your answers now. Your responses to the poll show that the majority of you work in state jurisdictions. We will be sure to incorporate all perspectives during the panel discussion, but it is good for us to know which jurisdictions you are in fact coming from. This webinar is the second in a 7-part series that will take place each second Wednesday of every month until September. The Wednesday series have been adapted from our box set of stakeholder papers, which CJI created under a cooperative agreement with the National Institute of Corrections. We want to also take another moment and ask you, our audience, whether you've had a chance to see and review those box set papers. Please record your answers now. The poll shows that the majority, almost 60% of you, have not had a chance to review the box set papers. At the end of the PowerPoint presentation, you will find links to the box set papers, and you will be able to access all of them from the website for free download. The box set papers focus on the application of evidence-based principles for reducing recidivism. The papers are addressed to various criminal justice stakeholders and discuss how the implementation of evidence-based practice and a focus on reducing reoffense affect areas of expertise in community corrections, judiciary, prosecution, defense, pretrial services, jail, prison, and the provision of treatment. Each of the papers is available for free download on CJI's website. You can also find more information on the remaining webinars in this series and descriptions of current projects and recent publications at cjinstitute.org. Again, this link will be provided at the end of the PowerPoint presentation. The website address, as I said, will appear on the last slide. Be sure to mark your calendars for the upcoming webinars in the Wednesday series. Before we begin, we'd like to remind you to mute your phones and that at any time throughout this webinar, you can submit questions for our panel directly via the question function on your screen. Following a brief presentation by the Honorable Christine Durham, Chief Justice of the Utah Supreme Court, we will begin our panel discussion and then also respond to questions from the audience. We will try and answer as many questions as time allows, and will make available remaining responses via a frequently asked questions sheet that can be accessed on CJI's website following the webinar. Both the FAQ sheet and the PowerPoint will also be uploaded to the website and be available for free download. We hope you enjoy the webinar and look forward to hearing your comments and feedback on the brief evaluation following the completion of the webinar. Thank you. Before we introduce today's featured presenter and panel members, we would like to recognize and thank the primary author of the State Judiciary box set paper, Mr. Roger Warren of the National Center of State Courts. Thank you, Roger, for your insight and expertise into this area of practice. And now we'd like to introduce our featured presenter, the Honorable Christine Durham, Chief Justice of the Utah Supreme Court. Justice Durham has been on the Utah Supreme Court since 1982 and has served as Chief Justice and Chair of the Utah Judicial Council since 2002. She previously served on the State Trial Court after a number of years in private practice. She received an AB with honors from Wesley College and a JD from Duke University, where she is an emeritus member of the Board of Trustees. Currently, she is president of the Conference of Chief Justices of the United States and chairs the Board of Directors for the National Center of State Courts. She also serves on the American Bar Association's Council on Legal Education and Admissions to the Bar, an entity that accredits American law schools. She is a member of the Council of the American Law Institute and a fellow of the American Bar Association. Past professional service includes the governing boards of the American Inns of Court Foundation, the Appellate Judges Conference of the ABA, the RAND Corporation's Institute for Civil Justice, and the ABA's Commission on Women in the Profession, and the Federal Judicial Conference's Advisory Committee on the Rules of Civil Procedure. She is also a past president of the National Association of Women Judges and was that organization's honoree of the year in 1997. Chief Durham has been active in judicial education and was a founder of the Leadership Institute in Judicial Education. She helped create and lead the Utah Coalition for Civic Character and Service Education and serves on the Utah Commission on Civic Education. She was an adjunct professor for many years at the University of Utah College of Law, teaching state and constitutional law, and served for 12 years on the Utah Constitutional Revision Commission. She has received honorary degrees from 4 Utah universities and has been recognized nationally for her work in judicial education and efforts to improve the administration of justice. In 2007, she received the William H. Rehnquist Award for Judicial Excellence, and in 2008, she received the Transparent Courthouse Award for contributions to judicial accountability and administration from the Institute for the Advancement of the Legal System at the University of Denver. Welcome, Chief Justice Durham.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Next, we have Mr. Stephen Bouch. Mr. Bouch is a professional court administrator with over 40 years of experience in limited and general jurisdiction trial courts. For the past 3 years, he has been deeply involved in the implementation of evidence-based practices in the criminal justice system of Napa County, California, focusing primarily on the operations of the courts, probation, and corrections. Prior to his appointment as the executive officer for the Superior Court of California, County of Napa, he has held virtually every type of court administrative post in the profession. In addition to being the Chief Executive Officer for trial courts in California and Washington, he served as a regional trial court administrator in Idaho, Deputy Administrative Director of the Alaska State Court System, and served as Senior Consultant with the National Center for State Courts for 7 years, where his project work focused on case flow management and delay reduction, organizational development, and performance management for courts nationally and internationally. He has also served on the faculty of the Institute for Court Management, the National Council for Juvenile and Family Court Judges, and the National Judicial College, and he is also an adjunct faculty of Michigan State University. He received his mediation training from the Strauss School of Dispute Resolution at Pepperdine University, has a Bachelor of Arts degree from California State University, San Jose, and is a graduate fellow of the Institute for Court Management. Welcome, Mr. Bouch.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Next, we have the Honorable Jean Maurer. Judge Maurer received her Bachelor of Arts degree from UC Berkeley in 1971 and her JD from the University of Santa Clara Law School in 1974. She began her legal career in 1974 as a prosecutor, first in Marion County and then Multnomah County. She worked in that capacity until she entered private practice in 1979. In 1988, she returned to the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office, where she worked until being appointed to the bench in 1996. She has presided over a wide variety of civil and criminal cases, and she began her tenure as the presiding judge for Multnomah County in January of 2008. She is the first woman to serve in that position. Since being appointed to the bench, Judge Maurer has served as the president of the Oregon Circuit Judges Court Association and as the president of the Gus Solomon Inn of Court. Additionally, she has taught as an adjunct professor at Lewis and Clark Law School. She is a frequent speaker and has volunteered her time as a coach of high school mock trial teams. In 2003, she was the award recipient of the Multnomah Bar Association Award of Merit. In 2010, she was named the Oregon Legal Citizen of the Year by the Classroom Law Project. She remains an active member of local and statewide bar and judicial committees and organizations. Welcome, Judge Maurer.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And finally, I'd like to introduce Chairman Catherine McVeigh. Chairman McVeigh has over 37 years of experience working with incarcerated and paroled offenders in Texas and Pennsylvania. In the first 25 years of her career, Chairman McVeigh worked in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in numerous positions, including Texas Correctional Officer, Director of Reentry Services, Special Needs Reentry Coordinator, Administrator for Classification and Treatment, Assistant Director of Treatment of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and Director of Institutional Parole and Field Parole Reentry Services. She was also a probation and parole consultant and trainer with the Sam Houston State University Correctional Management Institute. Chairman McVeigh, upon retiring from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in 1998, returned to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to continue her career in corrections with the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. Chairman McVeigh served as the Director of Mental Health and Mental Health Care Services from 1998 to 2005 and was subsequently appointed as Deputy Secretary for Administration with the Pennsylvania Department of Correction in 2003, serving in that capacity until 2005. In July of 2005, she was confirmed by the Senate to serve a 6-year term as a board member of the Pennsylvania Board of Probation and Parole. She was subsequently appointed by Governor Rendell as chairman of the Pennsylvania Board of Probation and Parole. Chairman McVeigh received her Bachelor of Science degree in Law Enforcement and Corrections Administration from Penn State University in 1973 and her Master of Science degree in Correctional Administration from Sam Houston State University in 1975. She was licensed as a professional counselor in Texas in 1983. Welcome, Chairman McVeigh.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone.